For decades, we've stared into the endless darkness of space, wondering, predicting, imagining. We weren't just searching for distant stars or stray planets. We were searching for something else, something that shouldn't exist. We've launched our greatest tools into the void, Voyager, Hubble, and now the James Webb Space Telescope, to cut through the cosmic darkness and reveal truths the universe has kept hidden. But what Webb just found isn't simply a discovery. It might be a signal. And even more unsettling, it might be alive. At first, 3 Atlas appeared no different from any other wandering interstellar object, a lonely fragment of rock drifting through the void. But then, we noticed something impossible. It wasn't just glowing. It was beating, a rhythm, a pattern, a pulse so precise it resembled a heartbeat, or a signature. What followed wasn't merely strange. It felt like a warning, so stay with me, because if this discovery is what some researchers now believe it may be, then we are not alone. And truthfully, we never were. The James Webb Space Telescope was built to see farther than any human eye ever could, across galaxies, into star-forming nurseries, and beyond the edge of time itself. But during what should have been a routine deep space scan, it detected something that didn't belong. A point of light, moving with purpose, where space should have been completely empty. That object was designated 3I Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar visitor to pass through our solar system. But unlike Oumuamua or Borisov, this one wasn't quiet. It was broadcasting. At first, astronomers assumed it was just highly reflective, maybe a comet coated in ice. But Webb's infrared instruments revealed something far stranger. The object wasn't reflecting heat from the sun, it was generating it. A concentrated thermal source deep within the object, pulsing, steady, and faint, more like biological activity or machinery than rock or ice. As NASA and ESA teams dug into the data, one pattern kept repeating. A rhythmic thermal pulse from inside 3I Atlas. Nothing in nature behaves like that. Comets vent heat in chaotic bursts as ice evaporates, never in perfect timing. But this pulse? It was consistent, deliberate, engineered. Then came the photometric analysis. The light wasn't scattered like a natural reflection, it was focused. Narrow, precise bands of energy at specific wavelengths, the same kinds humans use for communication. Satellites, spacecraft, even lasers. That's when speculation turned into a whisper spreading through research teams. This wasn't a signal we discovered, it might be a signal we interrupted. Data scientists ran the readings through Fourier transforms to search for structure. And hidden beneath what looked like random cosmic noise was a pattern. Not chance, not natural, intentional. The timing was too precise, too controlled, like a message wrapped in randomness. Some scientists said it could be a beacon. Others argued it resembled telemetry, data being sent somewhere else. And the most unsettling part? Since the moment Webb detected it, the pulse never drifted, not from radiation, motion, or distance. It was absolute, constant, maintained. This wasn't the echo of a dying object. It felt like something aware, either waiting to be heard or quietly listening. Then everything changed. Without warning, 3I Atlas flared, its brightness increasing by more than 40% in under 2 minutes. No natural object behaves with that level of symmetry. Thermal readings spiked, the entire structure heating rapidly, like a machine powering online. And then, its path shifted. First by tiny increments, then with unmistakable control. It was no longer riding the passive arc of gravity. It was adjusting, steering, not directly toward Earth, but close enough to align with the inner planets, slipping just inside our orbital track. A maneuver so precise, so calculated, no natural explanation fit. Whatever was inside 3I/ATLAS had awakened. And now, it was moving. After the trajectory shift, researchers at the European Southern Observatory took the investigation even deeper. Using advanced spectral decomposition software, tech normally reserved for detecting organic molecules on distant exoplanets, they reanalyzed the emissions coming from 3I Atlas. What they found stunned everyone. Buried within the signal were fluctuations that mirrored biological rhythms. Not DNA or proteins, nothing so familiar, but something even more primitive and universal. A resonance. Patterns that matched the frequencies seen in living cellular systems. In other words, the light from 3I Atlas wasn't just energy, it was behaving like life. This wasn't a coincidence or a freak asteroid mimicking biology. This was a signal encoded through light, structured in a way that suggested intention and possibly awareness. And the implications were staggering. If the object contained biological elements, then only two possibilities existed. It's alive, or it's transporting something that is. Just as awe turned into fear, something unexpected happened. The signal weakened. Power output, if that's what it was, dropped sharply. Thermal readings leveled off. The emissions dimmed. The rhythmic pulses became faint and irregular. But the object itself, it never slowed. It never drifted. It continued forward, precision intact, like a machine slipping into stealth mode. Some scientists compared the change to a heartbeat going silent, or a living organism holding its breath. That raised a chilling question. Was it responding to us? Or worse, was it trying to avoid us? A theory emerged, quiet, whispered, and terrifying. What if we're not the first species to detect it? What if this shutdown is a defense protocol? What if every time a civilization gets too close, it goes silent? Whatever the reason, the fading signal didn't comfort anyone, because a loud, obvious object is one thing, but a silent, cold, invisible one, still moving with perfect intent, that's far more dangerous. Then, something happened much closer to home. Sensors monitoring the South Atlantic anomaly, Earth's weakest magnetic field zone, began detecting disturbances. Not solar activity, not gamma radiation, but localized electromagnetic pulses perfectly synchronized with 3I Atlas's course corrections. As the object moved through the outer heliosphere, Earth responded. Tiny fluctuations rippled across our magnetic field, mirroring the pulses emitted from the interstellar object. No comet, asteroid, or natural body has ever influenced Earth's magnetosphere from that distance. Nothing we know of should be capable of generating a synchronized electromagnetic interaction with our planet. The conclusion was unsettling. We weren't just observing Atlas, we were connected to it. Its signals were interacting with Earth, possibly even communicating. At this point, a group of independent researchers proposed a theory that sounded impossible, yet could no longer be dismissed. They suggested that 3I/ATLAS wasn't a spacecraft, not a drone, not a vessel carrying something alive, but the intelligence itself, a self-aware construct, not born in a biological environment, but forged through interstellar processes. A form of consciousness based not on neurons and carbon, but on plasma, electromagnetic structure, and engineered matter. If that theory holds, then Atlas isn't a visitor. It's an emissary, a type of life we've never imagined, one that travels between stars, hides within comets, and waits silently until a species becomes advanced enough to notice it. And now, we finally did. As observatories worldwide recalibrated their instruments to track 3I/ATLAS with absolute precision, another anomaly appeared, one even harder to explain. The gravitational lensing around the object didn't match its estimated size or mass. The distortion it caused in the surrounding fabric of space implied something far denser, or something capable of actively manipulating gravity. This shattered every model astrophysics depends on. The only comparable gravitational behavior we've recorded comes from black holes. But Atlas isn't a collapsed star, it's smaller than a moon. So how is it bending space like one? Some theorists offered a bold explanation. It isn't reacting to gravity, it's controlling it, using localized gravitational manipulation not as thrust, but as navigation. Like a submarine adjusting buoyancy to glide silently through an ocean. Atlas may be altering space-time itself to move. If true, then we're not just witnessing advanced engineering. We are witnessing a form of physics that has been understood, mastered, and applied, not merely studied. Something out there has unlocked the fabric of reality, and it's now inside our solar system. Then came the moment many now believe changed everything. A small fragment trailing behind 3/ATLAS broke away and drifted into open space. At first, scientists assumed it was just loose debris, normal comet shedding. But when the James Webb Telescope focused on it and analyzed its structure, the data stopped the team cold. This fragment wasn't random or natural, it was engineered. Its surfaces were unnaturally smooth, flat planes, sharp right angles, and perfect symmetry. The kind of design nature doesn't create, but intelligence does. Even stranger, it had no detectable temperature, no radiation, no thermal signature at all. It absorbed light, but reflected nothing back. It was like a piece of matter designed to exist unseen. And its composition? A mix of unknown alloys with atomic patterns never found on Earth or within any known meteorite. This wasn't dust, it was a component. Meanwhile, astronomers at the Monarch Observatory in Hawaii began studying Atlas's rotation. Most elongated space objects spin irregularly, but Atlas was different. Its rotation followed exact intervals, patterns that matched pi, the golden ratio prime number sequences. It wasn't just spinning, it was broadcasting, a message encoded in motion, a kind of cosmic Morse code designed for anyone capable of noticing. Some researchers believe the rotation isn't the result of momentum, it's deliberate. A repeating signal, a declaration, "I am here," which raises the question, are we just observers, or are we the intended audience? Then came the final confirmation, one that silenced even the staunchest skeptics. A deep scan from Webb's life detection systems found something stunning: organic signatures, not fossilized proteins or stable carbon structures, but flickering signals consistent with replicating biological scaffolds. Not complete life, but the blueprint for it. Two theories emerged. Theory 1, it's camouflage. Biological mimicry meant to fool primitive observers into assuming Atlas is natural, exactly like octopuses, cuttlefish, and viruses do on Earth. Theory 2, far more unsettling. The organic material is deliberate, a payload, a genetic delivery system, which means Atlas may not just be a probe, it may be a seed, a tool of panspermia, delivering life across star systems. As Atlas moved closer to the inner solar system, magnetometers on Earth and on distant probes began recording something unprecedented. A rhythmic magnetic oscillation, not random, not chaotic, but structured. The pulses appeared in precise triplets, like a metronome with intent. Even more disturbing, the signal didn't weaken with distance, it grew stronger. It wasn't just emitting a field, it was interacting with ours, like a device scanning or synchronizing with the solar system's magnetic blueprint. Some experts compared it to a handshake protocol used in secure communication systems. But the question is, handshake with who? Earth, the Sun, or something we haven't yet identified? Then humanity tried something bold. Using deep space communication arrays, researchers transmitted carefully encoded radio messages toward Atlas, patterns based on prime numbers, binary logic, and harmonic tones. There was no reply, no bounce back, nothing. Until 1 hour after the final signal. Atlas changed its spin, slightly, deliberately, and precisely enough for only the transmitting team to detect. Some saw it as acknowledgement, others as rejection. Either way, it wasn't random. It behaved not like a rock-absorbing noise, but like something aware and choosing silence. In intelligence analysis, this behavior has a name: conscious non-communication. A strategic choice where silence delivers a message louder than words ever could. And in the vast emptiness of space, silence is the most terrifying response of all. When researchers began digging through old astronomical data, they uncovered something no one expected. Faint disturbances, barely noticeable, hidden in infrared sky surveys from 1987, 1998, and 2013. Each anomaly appeared along the exact same vector that 3I/ATLAS is traveling now. That means one thing: it may have been here before. But the detail that shook the scientific community was this: each recorded appearance aligned with unexplained spikes in radio bursts and strange gravitational wave events from those same years. Which raises a chilling possibility. Has 3I/ATLAS been looping past our solar system for decades or longer? If so, this isn't just a wandering object. It's a returning observer, possibly monitoring planetary development, civilization growth, or something encoded deep within Earth's own timeline. The latest trajectory recalculations revealed another startling twist. 3I/ATLAS is not heading toward Earth, not toward the Sun. Instead, its course bends, deliberately, toward Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, and projections show that if it makes another loop, its arc will intersect with Enceladus, Saturn's ocean moon. Both worlds contain vast subsurface oceans, are considered top contenders for extraterrestrial microbial life, show signs of hydrothermal activity beneath the ice. So a new theory emerged. Earth may not be the target at all. Maybe Atlas isn't here for us. Maybe it's visiting and revisiting ocean worlds, checking for progress, monitoring biological evolution, or triggering something dormant beneath the ice. We assumed humanity was the focus. But what if we were never the point? As deep space transmissions fell silent and Atlas continued its quiet, precise journey, a new idea spread among researchers, one more unsettling than all the others. What if it isn't speaking because it doesn't need to? What if its purpose isn't communication, but observation? A probe so advanced it requires no radio calls, no landing modules, no visible technology. A device that simply listens to atmospheres, magnetic fields, planetary signals, even the biological heartbeat of Earth. Some began calling it the perfect watcher. Quiet, patient, invisible. Until now. And if it has been here before, then it may have already sent its report. Which forces a far bigger question. Who, or what, was listening? But the final discovery was the one that changed everything. A Caltech research team ran the organic spectral data from Atlas not against alien biology, but against Earth's genetic structures. The result wasn't a match. But it also wasn't entirely foreign. It sat in a strange space between known and unknown, like a fragment of a language we once spoke and forgot, or one we are only now just beginning to understand. Something ancient, something familiar, something that suggests a possibility more shocking than alien arrival. Maybe Atlas isn't introducing life to this system. Maybe it's checking on something it planted long ago. There were patterns, too precise to ignore. When researchers analyzed the biological residue trailing 3I Atlas, they found repeating nucleotide structures. Not DNA as we know it, but echoes of things we've seen before. Viral frameworks, retrotransposons, even dormant genetic fragments that resemble the ancient non-coding regions in our own genome. It raised a staggering possibility. The material wasn't random, it was formatted. A kind of universal biological syntax, something adaptable, something that could assemble itself into life under the right conditions, whether naturally or intentionally. If that's true, then 3I Atlas isn't just carrying alien biology. It may be carrying the blueprint, not a seed, but a template. A template so ancient and so universal that it may have been used before, maybe here, maybe millions of years ago. And if that's the case, then the question isn't just what 3I Atlas is, it's who built it. Because at this point, 3I Atlas can no longer be described as a simple visitor. It's something far more unsettling. A question, a test, a mirror held up to a civilization that believed it was alone. We searched the darkness, hoping to find stars. Instead, we found something looking back. James Webb revealed more than we were prepared for: organic molecules in impossible arrangements, magnetic pulses that follow non-random timing, and engineered structural symmetry embedded in its core. None of it suggests nature. All of it suggests design. And when the universe reveals design, it reveals intent. And that changes everything, because intent means intelligence. Intelligence means awareness. And awareness means we may not be the first ones to notice this object. Some researchers now fear this isn't a probe seeking discovery. It's a probe waiting for a response. Its silence isn't emptiness. It's strategy. So now humanity stands in an uncomfortable place, somewhere between wonder and fear, knowing that if this object is a messenger, then someone, somewhere, sent it. Someone older, someone patient, someone who may have already heard us long before we ever built radio antennas or launched satellites into space. So the only question left is, what is it waiting for? Tell me what you think, because if this is real, then we aren't witnessing the end of a mystery. We're witnessing the beginning of contact. Subscribe, stay alert, and whatever you do, keep watching the sky.